famous musicians and talents in Ghana and beyond. I mean, in Africa as a whole, its impressive list of collabos include Daddy Lumba, Sarkodie, Bisakinde, R2Bs, Kofi B, Dasibre, Jamana Bookbag, Asem Castro, Brafo, Don Jazzy of Mavens Records in Nigeria, amongst others. His long-standing success sets him apart as one of the industry's most enduring producers. He's been in the business for so long, and he's still around. Now, in recognition of his exceptional work behind the scenes, Kewa has won VGMA Sound Engineer of the Year award consecutively from 2012 to 2014, and again in 2016. He was also nominated for Afrima Sound Engineer of the Year in 2016. Kewa has also been nominated for awards like the Ghana Entertainment Awards in the USA. He actually serves as a board member of the awards show in the US as well. Won some awards in the United Kingdom, also Producer of the Year Ghana Music Awards held in 2022. He recently got back from the UK on his entertainment business. So today, before we get into business, by chance you're tuning in for the first time, Leaderboard series is a show and a program that was designed by YFM to create inspiration and provide access to the leaders in the various sectors so that we can create real-time inspiration and guidance for people who want to toe the lines these great men have told. So we've done politicians, we've done presidential candidates, we've done members of parliament, we've done great men and women in the financial sector, we've done fintech greats, we've done comedians, we've done sportsmen, we've had actresses and actresses coming through, we've had musicians come through. I think this is going to be the second time I'm having a producer. The first one was Zab Mallet. Papa Kewa is my second sound engineer, music producer on the show today. If you're creative, if you're a sound producer, please, this moment is ours. 0202222073. The WhatsApp line is officially activated. We're, of course, doing this together. Help me as we welcome the one and only Kewa. Good to see you, Kewa, man.
Great to see you too.
I've known you for so many years, but this is the first time I'm interviewing him. You know, right?
Yeah.
It's such a privilege.
I know, right?
Funny thing, we actually
it's an honor for me too.
It's an honor for you?
Yeah.
No, it's an honor for me.
I mean, of course, you've interviewed top people, you know, and so for me, I see this as a very great honor for me to be here, an opportunity as well.
And I'd like to thank you on behalf of the team. Kewa, if you don't know, I mean, listeners, he's one of the busiest, people in the industry. He doubles as a minister of God. He does his production works. He's traveling all around the world. And so when we reached out to him, he was actually supposed to be on here last week, but something came up and we decided to shift it to this week. So it's a privilege to have him here. The next couple of minutes, is for his story. I know he's not going to hold back on anything. First thing I want to know, okay?
Yeah.
Where did the Inspo Kasekewa come from? And who did it? Who did that? Who did that voice?
I was in the studio with Stage A and then Edwoji, and then their manager. Then we were recording Someha, you know, and then I'd finished the song, and I used to use just Kewa, and then in my as a liner in my songs, and then when I was just about to put in Kewa, I felt, no, we could just do something else. You know, sometimes you have to be innovative, you know. So I was thinking through, and then I asked his manager to get into the booth and say something. So when he got into the booth, he said, I don't know what I go talk. So the record button was on, and so I captured that. And then Stage said, Kase Kewa.
Oh, makes sense.
So when Stage said that, we went into the studio and we did the Kase Kewa loud, and then the Kewa also, the response.
Wow.
So I used that for a while, and you know, I remember I was asked the same question when I was in London, lecturing in a school, and then they said, one student said, that's a liner that kills him.
Yeah, I know. The
line
liner
of my
itself.
songs, so on Kolum, you know. Yeah, that's where it came from.
I think my favorite appearance for that liner is "This one is for love."
I know, Kobna song.
Like,
I know.
Such a great. How do you feel when you sit and watch people talk about your achievements?
Wow.
I'm not sure. Pardon me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure you're old.
No, I'm not. I'm young.
Yes, but you've achieved
I just started
so much.
early. I just started when I was I started in 1998.
Okay.
I started producing music in 1998, so it means about 26 years.
26 years officially.
I was very young. I just finished school, and then I started. So yeah.
Was it part of the plans for the future for you, growing up?
Of course, parents will always let you know that throughout your, we want you to become this, and so I went to a good school.
Okay.
And my father, always knew that I'll be a lawyer, and because he followed keenly and made sure I had great grades. I mean, I also made sure I had great grades in school, so that I would impress him. But along the line, the thing when it's in you is in you. Along the line, I developed a lot of love for what you may call sound engineer and also audio engineering and in general music production. And so it was difficult to tell my dad because I was noted to be a very creative person in school, and so I happened to for want of a better word, I mean, everywhere you found me, I playing the keyboards, playing the drums, playing the saxophone, playing this, that.
And these were things you learned on your own, or someone had to teach you?
Some just came. I didn't. I'm not sure anybody told me how to play anything. You
just went in there.
For instance, how to play classical music. I just listened to people play, and I play. Back in school, people read, and I just listen to them and play. So so I realized that Charlie, this is where I go past. So I have to break this news to my dad, So along the line, when we finished school, he came around and he said, "Okay, so now we're done with secondary school.
What's up?
We talk." And I said, "Yeah, Charlie." I thought it was a good opportunity, good time. We were eating, so good time to tell him that this is what I want to do. So I said, I really want to move into sound engineering. And he looked at me closely and he said, "I've heard of mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, electrical engineering. What is sound engineering? So just tell me you want to go and play band."
Oh. He was that blunt.
Yeah, straight. And, from there, he never, already I knew that he was not supportive because he wanted me to become a lawyer. With all my father's children, whatever he said concerning them came to pass. For instance, you'll be a lawyer, you're a lawyer. My sister, everything he said about all my siblings.
What did he say about you before he wanted you to be a lawyer?
Yeah, me, lawyer. So can you imagine that?
Lawyer from
nowhere now. The narrative is changing because he just went to secondary school and then suddenly. So we had, and
the back and forth
because you see, my father always used to talk about the fact that music, his elder brother was Kwame Nkrumah's first drummer, Uhuru Band. I don't know whether you heard of Uhuru Band.
I've heard of the band.
Yes. My uncle was the first drummer. They formed the band. And my father, the man went through stages of suffering, and the narrative when it comes to musicians, what they say every time is for dropouts. We want good school, we are not to make, So my father has seen my uncle go through stages of, there was a time my uncle had to do the way that, so he vowed
that he would never let
none of his children, lo and behold, his favorite
became a sound.
So he just knew where I was going and he did all he could to prevent me. But I believe that God had a purpose and a plan for my life. And so as much as I was not disrespectful to what his intentions and plans were for my life, I had to also, tread cautiously when it comes to my father. So I was playing here and here, obey small and beat stone small and stuff like that. But until it came to a time when he heard when he heard my song on BBC for the very first time, You know, my father's a favorite. I mean, he loves BBC. That's the only station he listens to.
Kind of guy.
Thank you. So, and when my studio was just very close to his, window.
Okay.
And so I'm mixing this song, and I'm always mixing it consistently.
So that means he hears it a lot.
Then sometimes he'll come and stop me. He wants to sleep and all that. So when I was done, we sent it out, and the song was on BBC. He called the houseboy to come and call me and said, is it the same song I've been hearing on BBC, on your, in your studio? Yeah. Like I said, yeah, that's a song. Every me, I was very surprised. It was the very first time I heard a song on BBC.
Would you remember which song it was? Okay.
Samini featuring Mark Tonto.
Okay.
It was a happy birthday song be like that for Ghana or something like that. I had mixed and mastered it, but this was this guy's name. They call him K. He produced it, and so my father now began to develop interest in what I was doing, because if my music has made it to BBC, it means that, child, I'm doing something good. Yeah, so that's when he started giving me audience. Yeah. And then,
Around the time you wanted to do, around the time you broke to him that you were going to go the path of a sound engineer, were there any figures doing it who were notable?
Good. Around the time, I remember there's a man in Tema called Nana Boama.
Okay.
He taught most of the old sound engineers here, because I remember Zab Mallet used to come to the studio, and there were times that I would run and then go and go to the studio very early just to see Zab Mallet, because he was a famous Zab Mallet, learning from this man. And so yeah, my father knew him. Then Zab Mallet, but there were a few people who were, of course, Ami Hawani and the rest were doing it, but specifically in Tema, there were not most sound engineers in town, or many, for want of a better word. So my dad had an issue with that, but I had to, prove to him that this thing can be done. That's why, before I even go on, that's why I made it a point to also impact in other people's sound the same thing what I had.
Yeah. Obviously, as a young man, you were more than obliged to basically heed to the father figure's advice, in the house. Obviously, so you're not seen as the true one-to-one. Were there any points where you felt like, maybe this is not really what I want to do? Maybe I should just put a long pause to it, or change my mind so I can please my dad?
It's true. There were times that it was very difficult. Sometimes you don't have support from the people, the same people you're helping. There were times that most of the time I was recording for free. And there were times that you would think that people would support you with little, but they wouldn't. But because I was determined to become who I wanted to become, I didn't allow all those episodes to stop me, from becoming what I wanted to really become. And so there were times that I would not have light in the studio.
Okay.
I'll have people pass through, and Charlie, what's up? I said, I don't have light. Also, Charlie, but you with the go come. There were many people who just came through and said, with the go come.
Never came back.
It never came back. Castro came, and then he was like, Charlie, Yanko to power. So that's one of the people I really don't play with, Castro. So he came, brought power for me, and so he was one person who was always encouraged me into doing what I'm doing. He always brought me back into it when I didn't want to do it again. Sometimes I thought, maybe your father is right. Just go back and please him. So yeah, there were times that I felt like that, but I always came back into the lane, knowing what I wanted to become was the will of God, and I didn't want to stop it.
You just painted a picture of how tough things went at some point. Financially, you're from a home where you mentioned that you guys even had a houseboy. That means but because you're not doing what your dad wanted, I'm not sure in ideal Ghana home you would even get any form of financial support, because you're supposed to go out there and find something to do. How were you doing it?
Beautiful question. My dad never wanted to support me. Because he thought that I had disregarded what he wanted. So he goes like, my mom is also, whatever you want to do it. do it, and then let's see what you can. But as for support, when it comes to financial, it was my mom who, and mothers, and I remember she vacated her entire shop. I used to produce from my bedroom, and my mom vacated her entire shop
just so you can have it.
Yeah, I mean, she was doing well with her provision shop, but she said, listen, let me get out, because she saw, and then she gave the shop to me. But sometimes financially she was not there because she didn't have it. I would be pushing, gradually. So it was not easy. No.
So it happened at some point. There was a point where you didn't need to convince your dad no more, because he had heard a song of yours on BBC.
Exactly.
But from the time you started till that point, I mean, you've mentioned Castro coming in. Do you remember the first artist who's known now that came to you, and how you met them? How did you even have, because the advent of social media has made it very easy. Now you can post something and artists will reach out to you, but back then things were not like that. 1998.
No.
How did you even get connected to artists? How did they find you?
Yeah.
Who was the first person you connected with?
No, so I went back. I started with producing for church people, and then along the line, people like Reggie Rockstone called. I don't know how he got my number.
Reggie Rockstone?
Reggie called.
The
and
legendary
said,
Reggie Rockstone.
Charlie, I heard you got some great mix, style. I said, hey, me, pa, I wanted to mix these songs for me. I said, hey, and Reggie gave me some money. I said, no, this one they believe.
He paid for it.
He paid for it. And I was like, are you sure?
You remember the figure?
I don't, but it was good then, you see. And most of the people I was working for were people I sort of was part of their beginning.
So you were not expecting anything monetary from them.
that.
So would Reggie be the first artist that paid for
Reggie
your service?
could have been one of the artists who paid for their service. Samini also. Yes. This guy called Trigger Bema. I produced a song for him.
Do I know Trigger Bema?
Yeah, brah. But you could, a song he just stuck out here with. Yeah. So those are the guys I really can, think they gave me something, Yeah, but most of the productions were, Charlie, we hear you're good, let's go. And RTPs, of course. RTPs. Yeah. I mean, if I remember, then the next, when my name became, when I produced Sakot there, that what's his name? Trigger Bema's song, it became popular. And then it started bringing me, into the studio at that group of artists. That's when I began to meet people like Castro, Samini. They also came into the studio. So it now became like, the boy has arrived, sort of.
Around this period, what set of equipment were you using? I'm sure people listening who are, I have some very detailed tech people, sound tech people listening.
Okay.
What kind of equipment were you able to afford around that time?
I remember around that time was M Audio.
Okay.
So my keyboard was M Audio, my monitors were M Audio. And then as for the computer, Charlie, the one you can slap, Charlie, you go slap, you come on, go off, back off, But we used to use Atari.
Okay.
Atari. That was very old.
I think it was a UK. It's a UK platform.
That's when we, back in the days before, in the 20s. No, sorry, 2020. Yeah.
2010s.
205.
205 up. Yeah, the early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Let me be very cautious when I'm speaking because, Charlie. Yeah, so we started using some Azan keyboard here and there, Azan computer too. Sometimes you have to beat the computer for it to work well. Sometimes you have to wait when it's hot, put it off, and wait till. That's.
I would, for the lack of better words, describe these years as your warm-up years, right? Obviously, funds were not coming in. You were struggling with the kind of equipment you were using. You were still trying to build your portfolio with the artists you were working with, and so you were reaching out to people. Around this time, I'm sure you had friends. I want to talk about friendship. You had friends, you had people you had gone to school with.
Okay.
What were some of your mates doing, and what kind of responses were you getting from the people around you, if you remember?
Oh, no, be serious, boy. This guy is not serious. This guy, Charlie, if I go to school with a joke, that kind of thing. Some thought that I had, I was just messing around, wasting my life. You know, sometimes they'll come from school and say, Charlie, what should they do? Oh, Charlie, how far? You know, that kind of. I had that a lot. You know, yeah. So, but like I said, if my father could not stop me,
nobody else was going to stop
because,
you.
I mean, there were times that people would go like, even with my church folks, got to a point where they thought I'd backslided, want to be better already. They raised prayer altars for me and prayed for me, you know, thinking that this guy Charlie, let's pray for him. I remember a group of friends took me all the way to Takrady to pray for me because this guy, Charlie, we used to know he was a Charlie Christo D boy, he's playing in church and all that. Suddenly
he's producing for secular artists.
So they prayed for me. They all laid their hands on me. And when I was in the bus coming back home, I was like, oh God, thank you. I am redeemed. I have
gone back when I went to the studio.
When I got back, I was praying that I will only start working for gospel artists.
Okay.
When I got back, the first call I received was Reggie Rockstone.
With money.
Reggie said, Charlie, I won't mix 5-6 songs. He gave me money.
And that was a lot of money.
Gospel people will not give you the money around that time.
No, you won't get.
So I'm wondering, did God really work on me when I went to Takrady?
Or he put the wrong ones for your inside.
But I did not know God had a plan, because fast forward into what I am today. Most of them who have received Christ keep saying that, listen, we wouldn't have received Jesus if it was some big man of God somewhere. It's because you spoke to us. Yeah. So I just knew it was God's plan. Sometimes God's plan doesn't look good from the beginning, but when you follow, at the end of the day, it will bring you great results.
What's your biggest moment in your entire sound production and engineering career? Your journey?
Yeah.
Do you have one you can tag as your biggest?
Okay, so this you laugh about this biggest because this is very like a regular thing that happened, but for me was my biggest. The first time I heard my song on radio.
Which radio station was it?
It was Adom FM.
Adom FM. Okay.
I was in Trotro, going to Community One. No, coming from Community One back to my house.
Okay.
And I don't remember who was playing, but he just introduced the song. And I told the Trotro driver that Messi Wahia.
Wait, you got down?
Messi. Why? I got down, and when I got down and the car had left, I was like, Mikra, why am I here? Because I was not at my destination.
Why did you get down?
Yeah, confusion. When I heard my song on radio for the very, very first time.
This was Adom FM.
Adom FM, and yeah, one. And number two, when I had an opportunity to lecture in Newham College in UK.
Okay.
Just because I produced music. I said, hey.
The guy that didn't take
the guy where go to school of university. He's lecturing in the school. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, those are. And of course, when I won an award, first time, bro, I didn't go. And when they mentioned my name, I almost collapsed in the house.
Why didn't you go?
That one is some for another conversation. Another time we will talk about this thing. But I couldn't go.
You couldn't go. It's not like you didn't go.
I couldn't go.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah. So
I want us to talk about a specific set of artists, okay? You touched on the fact that you really loved working with Castro. Do you remember how you guys met? What are some of the fondest memories you have with Castro? How was his working, attitude like?
Wow.
How did he approach his recording process?
Whoa. Like I said, when I got into my stage 2, I began to attract top Ghanaian artists to work with me. But I remember what really brought Castro to the studio was when I produced a song for this guy called Okama, Macho Rapper.
Okay, Macho Rapper, yeah.
So Macho Rapper said he wanted to feature Castro, so he personally knew him, and so he was going to bring him to the studio.
Was he big that time? Was he known?
Castro was huge.
Okay.
Castro, nice hits are fine. So, one of the days, so I told Sarkodie that, listen, Castro will be coming to the studio. So Sarkodie also got himself ready.
And that's why Sarkodie was also...
No, Sarkodie was now coming.
Okay.
So I remember that day very much. He had his book Road, and it was behind his pocket.
His exercise book.
When Castro came, we were all surprised. I remember Sarko was looking at Castro like that. Me too, I was looking at Castro from one end because we had seen a superstar. Yeah, so Castro, and when it comes to working with Castro in the studio, he's a one-time recording artist. He doesn't
do 2 takes.
No. When he gets into the booth, he doesn't change it. You can call him a freestyler, but he will always remember what he did. Yeah. So Castro, and sometimes he had great idea when it comes to production. So he would tell you, Charlie, at the end of the day, you get great production.
Like he does the production with you, the
with
process
me,
is with you.
My secret is that if you listen to all my productions, they sound different. That's why I'm able to produce secular music very well, produce gospel music very well, because I deal with the artist. I make sure I don't do this like, hey, I'm the guy, so go and sleep out. No. I ask you what can I add. I remember Lumba will give you like single instruments, Mawinkoha, and after you have a great production. So that's my secret when it comes to production. Yes,
you get involved with the artists you created bit by bit with them.
Exactly.
Great. You mentioned Sarkodie.
Yeah.
We can't talk about Tema, we can't talk about production, we're not talk about Sarkodie.
I know, right?
When Sarkodie came to meet Castro, he was also coming up.
Yes, coming up.
But before that time, how did you meet Sarkodie? In what state did you meet Sarkodie?
Well, when I met Sarkodie, he was also, I think, Kasahari days.
Okay.
He didn't play with his craft at all. When anytime I listen to him on radio, one of the artists I always pointed to and said, this guy got a great future because he was solid when it comes to rap. And so I remember Dr. Duncan brought Sarkodie to my place to record a song, one of his songs. I think we featured Ketchup those times. Yeah. So Sarkodie was also, when he got into the studio, I was surprised how he delivered. He did not, because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to music.
You like things very pure and clean.
It will be good. And Sarkodie gave me that vibe. He was on point, even at that time. So he was one artist I used to talk to and advise a lot, Sarkodie Stoneboy. I used to advise a lot, sharing a little that I had, when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to music. If you listen to Sarkodie very well, he loves highlight music when he's relaxing. He wants to listen to highlight music. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember stuff.
While we do that, is it difficult to work with Ghanaian artists? I'm sure you've worked with different artists. You've done production in the UK. Is it difficult to work with Ghanaian artists?
It's difficult to work with some Ghanaian artists, especially Ghanaian artists who don't know what they want. I've always said, if you're an artist, bring yourself to a place where you would recognize that, Charlie, I need this. I can only help you when you give me a clearer picture of where you want to go to. Like you're standing by the road and you say, I need help. Stop. Stop. Why are you going inside? Nowhere. So first and foremost, as an artist, before you go into the recording studio, know what you want. Don't say, Charlie, give me what you gave to this guy's song. No. Know what you want. And stand by what you want. Because if you don't do that, you will end up not being, a serious person. For me, because you at least learn. There are a lot of materials online right now. Learn what music is about. And I always tell artists also, it's optional, but it helps. Learn a musical instrument. Not like giddy giddy bia, something that can help you to write. It will help you in your writing, so that if you always do fa so do, you go to re, more, and all that. It will help you to write good songs. That's if you want to be also a writer and then also be a creative person. And so, dealing with Ghanaian artists, honestly, but majority are creative. Let's be very honest. Like Sarkodie, Stoneboy, too creative. I mean, from the day I laid my eyes on Stoneboy till now, very creative.
Doesn't disappoint.
No. Too creative. Too creative. So
Averagely, how long does it take you to produce a project?
Oh.
I'm asking this because I'm told, and I asked a few people, Kewa doesn't like to work with your time. Kewa wants to do things at his pace. When you come to Kewa, don't come to Kewa and say, I want to release next month, and let's do it. Kewa's plan for you might be 4 months.
Exactly.
Do you deliberately delay production, or you naturally just want to work at your own pace? How does it work?
If you followed me, you realize that, like I said from the onset, my productions always sound different.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, as much as I want to work within time, I also want to do something that's timeless. So if we don't have it, we don't have that sound. I believe
we don't have
that,
time.
No.
We don't have that sound. Okay.
So we need that sound. And so if you've listened to me also, I'm one who I've always wanted to be a pace setter. And so that's what I've done till now. Always bringing in something that is not there. And I'm not talking about originally starting something new, but something that is not really in our setup. For instance, when we're very busy doing High Life, I said, let's bring some crunk music. You understand? And so that's when we hotgirls.com for the very first time, in Ghana. So I've always been that person, and so I let you know that, listen, me, I'm a very, very, not busy, but I love to create. Like if you listen to Someha, most of the drum beats you hear was done with my mouth. The drum rolls were with my mouth, hi-hats with my mouth. I didn't play it on the keyboard.
You recorded it
with my mouth.
Okay.
With my mouth. So it takes a bit of time, and that was a timeless production. For instance, another one, the one featuring Asem and Kobena.
My favorite?
Yeah. Okay. Timeless also, because I tried, if you listen to the string instrument, I tried to be between church music.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, the other side. And so you have to balance it. Sometimes it's not easy, but Charlie, it's worth it. I mean, I don't like to Charlie have plenty of my songs. I want to have Charlie
the right
songs, timeless songs.
What project has brought you the biggest amount of money? If you remember. DRA is not listening, don't worry. Their radio is off. What project you've worked on has brought you the biggest earnings?
Let me keep that for tomorrow.
Wow. Let's see. We want to know. Well, I'm not asking you to mention the figures, but which one has brought you the biggest amount of money or earnings?
Songs I've produced, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a song like okay, let me say hotgirls.com, because around that time I had a lot of artists now running to do hotgirls.com, crunk music,
style,
the crunk style. Yes, and also when I did back on, and Ghana were enjoying High Life till I started back on and on. So it was sort of Afrobeat, but we didn't call it Afrobeat until the Nigerians took it and they called it Afrobeat. And so around that time also I had people coming through, to work with me, and so I also cash back a crack.
And you've worked with Nigerians as well.
Yeah.
He skipped the money part.
I would always do that.
Before that, we talked about Ghana artists. How is it like working with Nigerian artists also?
They are serious people. Not to say Ghanaians are not serious people. Okay. Nigerians are.
You said it, but it's fine.
Oh no. Ghanaians are serious people, but Nigerian artists are daring. Nigerian artists will record 20, 30 songs and pick one. Nigerian artists. Ghanaian artists will go like, this is a song I want to record. One song, follow one song. Nigerian artists are different. Nigerian artists.
Why do you think they dare themselves so much? And is it because they look for so much perfection in what they do, or they just don't believe in the great stuff they do? How is it?
They look for so much perfection. For me, Nigerian artists back then were looking up to Ghanaian artists a lot.
Okay.
And what Nigerian artists will always say is that, Charlie, we want the Ghana sound. Nigerians never had good sound quality back in our days. And so that's why they work with people like me, Kill Beat and the rest, because we gave them the sound, you know. I remember working with the Banjo, and he would talk about Ghana sound, Charlie, the Ghana quality. So for want of a better word, looking at what Ghana is doing, let me even date it back to how, remember Ghana Must Go.
Yes.
Remember Ghanaians were Nigeria, we flooded Nigeria with
people.
With everything Ghana. And Ghanaians sort of took over their industry.
They vex.
You know, sometimes you want to go and work somewhere, they say, Charlie, are you Ghanaian? They want to work with Ghanaians more than Nigerians because Ghanaians were working, were hard working and all that. I mean, let's not even talk about Ghana music in Nigeria. All the top music in Nigeria. What's happening today in Ghana?
It's what's
Yes. And so that Breche, Back Office Army and the rest, they were making waves in Nigeria. Konimo and the rest. You know, they were making a lot of waves in Nigeria. But you see, along the line, I don't know when it changed. The narrative changed.
Did we become complacent?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know how, but it is the kind of orientation we had in our days when it comes to music. If you go to schools, for instance, secondary school, you're asked to make your first, second, third choice. First one is science, second is business, third visual arts, creative. Creative is always at the bottom. But creative, where they bring the money. So we were oriented to think that creative is nothing. Go to our Legon, dance, and what you call dondology. It's the one, Charlie. Ghanaians don't want to. In fact, when they say you are a dondology student, you didn't go to Lagos.
Why the last?
One go school, one go. But the white guys will come here
and do that.
They won't come here and learn go to a science school or something. They will rather come here and learn that. Be honest with yourself when it comes to creative art and then the other industries. Where money they?
Well, outside.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But we're oriented to think that Charlie money no day there. It's for dropouts. Like I told you, my father told me.
Was it not because of the kind of experiences the ones that led back then had gone through?
Obviously.
You know how maybe they managed their money and all that?
Obviously. But it doesn't make it bad.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? The fact that you're not getting you saw this guy go down doesn't mean that. Or you saw this guy drive this particular car and the guy had an accident doesn't mean the car is bad. You see what I'm saying? And so the orientation brought us here. And I'm not saying it's now it's changed, it's become better. I remember when I was working with Lumba in those days, they would tell you that, listen, Okopeni Yokra Warriors, Charlie, we are doing Otonium. There we forget. I mean, musician, we want doctors and stuff, So orientation has brought us here. Even though it's changing and we are coming to a place where it's becoming, when my son wants to do music, Charlie, go ahead and do it. Whatever you want to do, that your child wants to do, allow them to do it, especially when it comes to creative arts. I've had parents bring their children to my studio. As Charlie, we have tried everything. The guy wants to become a sound engineer. He wants to become an artist. Help us. And then I take these people through.
One would say maybe we don't have the right channels, but then I believe there are. There are schools, there are universities offering courses in that, in creative arts. There's NAFTI, all of them doing production some way, somehow.
The parents don't see it attractive.
Okay.
I don't blame them.
That's because of the orientation we had, like you mentioned.
Because of the orientation they had.
Okay.
You see, you get what I'm saying? And so that's where the battle is. That's where the problem is.
I would want us to talk about the Ghana sound. You mentioned the Ghana sound, but before that, just so I don't forget, back then, production, the kind of stuff you guys used to do, and now, because there are new people doing it, it's now attractive. You mentioned that it's better now. What is causing the change? Where is the change coming from? Why are things suddenly better? Is it the internet? Is it technology? Is it the fact that it's now suddenly paying more? What has changed?
All the three you said are the reasons why.
Okay.
Number one, internet is helping us. Now, if you want information, not like in our days when you want information, you have to go and look for a book to read. Internet was not easily accessible like now. Today on my phone, I can just Google you and find every information about you. I can Google how to mix drums, and I can find all the information on how to. So you find people who have not gone to sound engineering school yet are very good sound engineers, because just by Googling you can, if you're not careful, you'll be sitting in front of a doctor who never went to school.
I mean, some of them now, when you go to they Google your symptoms.
I'm telling you, yeah, they Google. Charlie, what's wrong with you? I know I Google.
But at least they have the license. So.
I'm away draw. I'm away draw and all that. I mean, I remember there's a country, African country. There's a guy who was a lawyer who never went.
Well, he's not really a lawyer. He never went to school, never did law. He just read his stuff online.
The guy
found his feet very well and went to court about 8 times, won all the cases.
Yeah.
And then they found out he was not.
They would punish him.
But at the end of the day, no, I'm told he actually represented himself. No, he wanted to represent himself.
But
in court, and they said no. I feel who's when you're lawyer, but what's me winning cases no already. Things are changing, so the money bit.
So the money bit is the money, the
technology,
access,
the new devices you use, the softwares and all that.
So it's made it easier and better, And I believe that's what is, changed, made the parents
more people get
to come back and say.
Do you think all these things that are like the upsides of what is happening has also caused a little bit of downside? Do you think, or do you also agree, because I've heard this so many times, that producers and sound engineers now are less creative, a bit complacent now, because technology will do it.
Yeah, that's true.
You can just put things together. Do you also agree?
That's true. Yes, I mean when you have the right tools that makes it easy for you to do it, I believe that should rather make you do it right.
Okay.
You see. But unfortunately, some producers and some sound engineers are, not doing it right, because once you just put the thing that now AI can produce an entire music for you.
Yeah.
So but me, when I hear it's AI, I know it's AI.
You know it's AI.
You get me? So you can use AI. But add some things to make it your own, and that's what's going to make you creative and innovative. And so, it shouldn't come to bring it down. It should rather come to lift it up, and that's what I think should. So get sort of a formal training when you want to become what you want to become, especially with sound engineering product. And I've told people not to go to beat players. Go to.
What's the difference?
No, there's beat player and there's a producer.
Okay.
Beat player is one who sits and just because they have gadgets, they can play beat right now. Producers have foresight, vision when it comes to how the production should be like.
Okay.
So before I start playing anything, like if I'm producing a song for an artist, I know who should play guitars, who should play maybe additional keyboards, who should do backups, how the artist should sing here and there. And so producers do that. There are producers in town who don't play beats.
Okay.
Get me? Marco Krikuman is a producer.
Yeah.
He doesn't play beat.
So he has to work with somebody
to play the beat.
Okay.
So me, I double as a beat player and a producer.
And where does the engineering bit come in?
Good. The sound engineer is one who puts everything together. It's like the one who is you're pounding fufu, the one who is like stirring it. So you put the yam or what
banchine body.
Cassava banchine. Put it together and make sure you don't see banchine. You don't see
like it makes it well.
It makes it very well. So that's a sound engineer.
Okay.
So even in sound engineering, there's mixing engineering and mastering engineering.
Okay, I was going to get to that. I was going to ask if every sound engineer can mix and master.
There are some sound engineers who only do mixing. You get what I'm saying? So like mixing engineering. And there are mastering. There are few mastering engineers in Ghana. Few.
I want to mention. I don't know if you're going to feel comfortable. I want to mention names.
Yes, go ahead.
The thing is, there hasn't been a lot of education on who does what. I just know Kewa is a producer. I know so many times people will introduce you as a beat maker.
Yes.
Some will introduce you as an engineer. But then I believe there hasn't been so much education. You are explaining now the different parts of it. Is Shatta Wale a sound engineer, producer, beat maker, or what?
Okay,
let's
so
put a singing part.
I put Shatta Wale in the space of beat player and producer. Because I'm sure that before his production goes on, and he knows what he wants to do. Sound engineering, he has the idea, but I'm not sure he's like a made sound engineer. Even though he can put something together.
And I break that down to the mixing and mastering. He's able to master
and mix his stuff. Yes.
So he still qualifies as an engineer.
Yes.
Who else? DJ Breezy.
Yeah, he's a producer. Because if you listen to Breezy's production, Breezy is able to put together a lot of people, even some producers to work for him. And that's what I also do, you know. And I'm not too sure when it comes to mixing and mastering, even though he does it. But he's more of a producer. Very knowledgeable when it comes to music production.
And so he does engineering as well.
Yes, he does engineering.
He does qualify as he can qualify as that.
Possible is a mixing engineering. Engineer.
That's Posty, by the way.
Yeah, Posty. Mixing. I know he's very good with mixing. Very, very good with mixing. And then sometimes he does mastering also.
Who else? You mentioned Marco Krekumante already.
He's a producer.
Hammer.
Hammer is a producer. I mean, let me use Hammer as
the benchmark.
The benchmark for who a producer is. Hammer is a solid producer, even though he plays the beat also. But Hammer Charlie, I will need this in the song. Hammer can get somebody to come and play one keyboard note in the song.
So he's able to organize the different elements together to make the perfect sound.
Perfect.
And that makes sense.
That's Hammer for you. And the right people to hire, especially with so he hires his sound engineer. You give him some. It's a producer's job to hire instrumentalist, hire backup artist, hire sound engineer, a beat maker there.
So, I understand. Kiwa, so you mentioned the Ghana sound a few minutes ago. What is the Ghana sound? Is the Ghana sound then different from the Ghana sound now? Do we even have a Ghana sound now? Do we have an identity for the Ghana sound now?
That's a very good question. I've always said that we had a Ghana sound. We had a Ghana sound. Along the line, in our quest to make Ghana sound better, we adopted another sound. And so, when you hear Ghana sound, you know this is Ghana sound. What I always tell the producers to do is that improve on Ghana sound. When you hear Nigerian music, you hear Nigerian sound. So Ghana sound, improve on Ghana sound. Make sure that the Ghana element is always found in there.
Which is the elements are?
Those basic things are. But you see, Ghana right now, when you play this, they'll tell you it's a kick. Because always the Ghana sound create trim.
It's because the taste of the consumers is changing, is growing?
No, I believe Nigerians even took something from Ghana, but they made it theirs, and then they polished it and they carved their music. We can adopt other, but make sure that at the end of the day, it is originally a Ghana sound.
The base remains original.
It has to be a Ghana sound. But now you can't differentiate. Sometimes you hear some production and it sounds not Ghana. I'm not saying it's bad. As a producer, you can decide to do Nigerian sound, but you have to work with an identity. It is what is destroying us, identity crisis. We have no idea who we are and the capacity we run with. We have too much.
Have you personally had to, in protecting this value that you just spoke of, go back and forth with maybe an artist that wants to do production with you? Have you had to challenge some of them?
Exactly,
in having them stay on course with identity?
If you come to me, one of the things I'll say is that make sure that we are pushing our identity. on any day, Nigerian man will never push a Ghanaian identity. When a Nigerian man goes to a club and they are playing Ghana sound, he walks to the DJ and says, DJ, take this.
Okay.
Make sure, say, you go play one of Ghana sound. I lie. They ask your DJ, he'll tell you. Yeah, they always want to enjoy what their sound.
Yeah.
I went to South Africa, and in the Ghanaian spaces in South Africa, Nigerians are dominated. And I was asking why.
Any Ghanaian space is Nigerian.
Thank you. They said, Charlie, when we come, we buy into it, and we own it. That's what Ghanaians should do. Own. But you see, like I always say, we are okay. For instance, I was working with the Don Jazzy and the Bunch, and I asked Don Jazzy which artist would he really love to work with
from Ghana.
Okay. You know who he mentioned?
No.
It's a Lumba.
This was how many years ago?
Oh, several years. I mean, when I went to Nigeria, I think it's 2012.
And around that time, there were other great Ghanaian artists who were.
He said Lumba, and he said Sarkodie.
Okay.
And so we don't hear Sarkodie's tree, but we love what he's doing. We don't understand the tree. We love it. You know why? Sarkodie will do the tree and you hear English. So they're able to now structure what the guy is talking about. I'm not saying that, English is not, but Ghana, we have our pidgin. But you see that when we speak our pidgin, we think naturally it's not solid. We have to add something. So we are always running with somebody's identity because we think that is what is making it. No.
Okay. Now let me ask this. I asked that question just to find the basis for what I wanted to really know.
Yeah.
As a country, as a music economy, we're constantly going back and forth on the fact that our music isn't really doing as much as other countries are doing. We went through the history books, touched on the points where Nigerians were basically picking elements of what we were doing because ours was the thing. But now they're far ahead of us, in production, in all that, with the elements that they picked from us, okay? But now, here we lie, the country with the original mixture, not really crossing over like their songs are. We have a few of us still crossing over and getting into the world charts like, their songs are doing.
Yeah.
I just want to find out where we lost it. I mean, is it because we don't have the identity? Is it because we're not really holding on to what we're doing? Is it because we're not really pushing what is ours? Or what? As a producer,
Two things I always say. Number one, yes, standing by our identity, I've mentioned already. Number two, investment. Now, what Nigerians have over us is investment. Like I said, they are daring. Ghana man, when he gets some money, he's not going to think of him putting all that investment in music. No. Nigeria man, you put all. When it works, you will see that the guy has bounced. But when it doesn't work, he will try again. But Ghana, it's not to say that we don't have money here. We have money. But it's the interest to put money into this, because we think that, like I said, the orientation, because we're oriented to think that, Charlie, the thing is not really going to work. When you are going to put money into it, you are thinking, you get me? Yeah.
Is it not because the track record isn't very clean? Is it not because I'm going to have to connect it to you? You mentioned that a lot of us don't have the interest to even put in money, but you did.
Thank you.
You set up a record label, pick artists. Nobody paid you nothing, by the way, just for the records, and I know this.
Yeah.
And then you set up a record label. You put money into artists. I remember I used to work with Ignis then at Foresight TV.
Yeah.
You had a song for Curl Songs and Sarkodie. It was one of his first songs after Hitmaker. And he went to South Africa to shoot a music video or something of that sort. And this money I'm not sure this money comes back because, I don't know. I stand to be corrected, but you don't get these things back. As a businessman, I mean, from where I sit, if I have money to put into business, why do you think I would want to put money I can use for other business into something like this when KY did it and the money didn't come back?
Well, okay,
how do I do it?
Good.
Why do I even do it in the first place?
You see, what will give you the money is the consistency.
Okay. Keeping it going.
Keeping it going. In everything in life, if you're not, even with God, God is not looking for somebody who comes today and make him his
all.
Because we see God as most of us see God as our resource, not our source. God wants to be your source. In the same way, when you're consistent at it, hitting, the more you hit, you will break through. But it needs. But for some of us, when you do 1, 2, 3, I've worked with somebody who invested in an artist on my label. Put in 1, 2, 3, and he's now asking Charlie, where's the money? When the artist has not even made waves. You see, you have to push in. I remember every money I had, I put in music. Every money I saved as a producer, I put back. You see, I put back, and sometimes it's painful. Family is not eating, but I'm putting back. I mean, it's tough, but I say.
At some point, you have to even sell a car.
You see? Yeah. But you see, that's where most of the artists don't know. Just to push an artist. Go heaven and earth. Just to make sure that, because without money, you cannot break even. Money would have to take you there. Yes, of course. There are times that you're working with people like you. I can send you a song and you say, I'll play for you because it's KY. But it's not everybody. You know that our setup.
You need to throw in money.
Charlie, you have to. Music videos are very expensive. You have to put in the money. I sold one of my cars, to shoot just one music video. Hey, that thing to not go anywhere.
Realistically, I mean, with this said, I don't believe we can entirely blame all of us for the state in which our music is, because I mean, think about it. Then again, I have to say this, I stand to be corrected. I'm not sure you had any form of funding or support from the government or nobody.
No.
Okay, you've had individuals come in at some point to throw in some cash, but then they also have the expectations. And so maybe they're looking for a hit song related to what they did. It doesn't come, they give up. They give up because, Charlie, nobody likes to throw out money. Some also come in, and because there's no avenues bringing back the money, they give up. We can't entirely blame them. We can blame, I always say this, we can blame the system. But then as a producer of your caliber, okay, beyond these experiences you've had, how do you think we can move the industry forward? How do you think we can move our music business forward? I mean, we've spoken about the things that are not right, but then with the expertise you have, let's speak into the air. Okay. Maybe somebody might pick it. How do you think we can improve situations so that our music can get where it's supposed to get to, so that money can start coming in, so that people will start investing and not expect a hit after they put in 100,000?
First and foremost, I think that we have to be one.
Okay.
What is also sort of missing in our, industry is the ability to stay together.
Okay.
Because once we are one, once we are pushing ourselves, helping ourselves, I look at you, you are not effective in one, like this wing, I support you. We don't support ourselves to bring ourselves to, if you look at Ghanaian music, let me be honest, the top people are very few.
Yeah.
4 or 5 top. We can't mention more than 10 top Ghanaian artists in Ghana. Be honest with yourself. You see. But what is happening is that we are not able to come together and put ourselves there.
Yeah.
That's what we are missing. When people see that, when an investor sees that, these guys, they are pushing themselves. This one is helping each other. This one is, of course, we have the regular Charlie beef here and there and things. I know it also helps the industry when it's healthy and all that. But let's sometimes put all those things aside and push ourselves, help ourselves. Help ourselves, because if you listen to some individuals, you realize they have a lot of knowledge, but those knowledge, I mean, for want of a better word, can only be effective when it's done together, not just you. And that's where we are found wanting. Now, first and foremost, let's be together, so that when we are together, people will see our seriousness. Okay.
All right.
Number 2, whatever you have. I know some artists who would never push or invest anything into what they do. They're always waiting for somebody to help them. Always waiting for somebody to invest. But push. There are some artists who left my label and they'll come back and tell me, listen, now we understand what you were doing. Because they have left, they are working, they are doing their best, but the best is not going anywhere. They realize that, Charlie, you need to push and be consistent. So I mentioned consistency. So these things are for want of a better word, those very vital things to look at if you really, really want to
So the creatives themselves should also start investing in themselves.
Push yourself.
Start with something.
Yeah.
Do you believe? Do you believe they should start getting daytime jobs?
No.
No.
I
mean, so how is the funding going to come? Because I've met you. You've done this consistently over 20 years, 26 actually.
Yeah.
And it's worked for you because you've been consistent.
Yeah.
But here lies an artist who's fresh off the boat. You know, he has a talent.
Yeah.
He's probably discovered through his friends and through maybe a platform that he can sing.
Yeah.
This person says, I'm talented. I'm going to sit and wait for somebody to throw in money. And so by so doing, I'm going to focus 100% my time to doing music, to making music, because music is what I love.
Yes.
But we're in a space where there's no funding. So won't it be right for me, as much as I have the talent, to put aside a bit of my talent and then go find money to go get a job, maybe get a daytime job?
Maybe after you rephrasing the question,
Okay,
I can say that for me, if you are now beginning and you have money, do music and find some money.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Find some money. And you see, number two, the capacity you have, it may be little.
Okay.
But push the capacity into what you're doing.
Okay.
Some will hold it back and say that, Charlie, I can't do all. So, but push it. Put in it. I think just this Sunday, Stoneboy is doing a show. I don't know whether it's this Sunday.
I'm not sure it's this Sunday.
Okay. But somebody like Stoneboy, I was very proud when I heard that he single-handedly put in a lot of effort to try and put up, that show he did.
Yeah.
Sakode is doing the same.
I mean, Shatta does the same. All these guys are building.
You see,
and I mean, since we mentioned that, Kuku Smoke is also doing one tonight. I know Black Sharif is doing one next week or over the weekend. Famia, that's one at a show.
Put in effort. Stay focused. Stay focused. Be focused until the focus is on you.
Be focused until the focus is on
you. Push.
I love
Don't
that.
wait. Don't wait till somebody comes to help.
I love
Push
that.
till somebody says I can help. Apart from that, take the thing into your own hands and do it. You see,
Kewa, but do you regret investing money into other artists? Do you regret setting up a record label? I say this because in the past there's been so many stories, and I remember when Last Mate came out of Hitmaker. I was a part of Hitmaker at some point.
I remember.
Yes,
I remember.
And so I did see the genesis of a lot of the things that happened. We're not going to dive into all that went wrong or all that went right, but it looks like at some point Mr. Drew left. Do you still work with Kel Songs?
Yeah, I mean, still work.
Okay. Rachel Blue is no longer there, right?
She's in the UK.
She's in the UK. She came back, got married to Sheikha. This is the lady that got married to Sheikha.
I see.
Yes.
I never knew.
You never knew?
No, Sheikha, the producer?
Yes. Anyways.
Are you serious?
We'll talk about that later.
Oh, Rachel didn't invite me.
I'm not sure you were in Ghana. You were in the UK. No, you were in the UK for the music. Yes,
okay.
yes. There's Last Mate. These guys come and along the line. I mean, you put in money to expect a certain future. Things go south, and then they are all off the label, and you're back to finding another artist, or you're back to nothing pretty much. Do you regret these things? You just spoke about consistency, but then it happens to you yourself. In the past, in things you've worked on, in your music journey, in investing money into this creative arts, business, do you regret setting up a label and putting your own money into artists?
Well, I don't regret. I've never regretted. My boys will tell you. Sometimes they go like, Charlie, you are strong with all this. I'm saying, well, it is how I started.
Okay.
When I started and I became, in quotes, a successful producer, sound engineer for that matter, I said, let me use my effort, what I have, to push or to help others to become like me.
Okay.
And so I started with some producers, help producers. There are top producers today who came through me. In fact, majority of the top producers in Ghana right now came through me. And so I said, then if I've done it with the producers, let me go with the artist. So I started with the artist. You can say that I didn't have the foresight, or I didn't understand the terrain properly, but also my passion went ahead of me. I still run with the same passion.
Okay.
Even though now, sometimes you are wise.
You have to watch your back small.
But I don't regret it. Anybody who has left me in their quiet place, in their bed will always know that I played a role in their lives. And for me, that is what keeps me going.
Okay.
When I see Mr. Drew, what he's doing today, I know I played a role. Yeah, business will not always go as you expect it to go, but I know I played a role in bringing him where he is today. If he doesn't say it anywhere, he knows it. And for me, it's good enough. Last minute, all of the artists who came and left, yeah. And so I don't regret it. It makes me better. It makes me want to do it more, because if I've been able to take somebody's child who I can, for want of a better, tell you that the parents didn't even want to do something like that for them because of funding and all that. But I went ahead to do that for them. And now today their parents are proud of who they've become. It makes me proud. It makes me happy. So I don't wish any of them bad. I said this on Nana Ma's show the other time, that people think that Charlie, hey, that guy is doing well. Wouldn't you rather be excited that, listen, if I put in one CD and it's brought him where he is today, be excited. So that's what encourages me. So I've never regretted. I will not regret. I will always keep on doing what I do. And I believe that the sky is just the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as human beings, we can't always be right. We can fully be right. And when you look back, the different instances that happened between the various artists that came and left, are there things? Is there one thing you wish you had done right? If you look back, are there things you wish you had done right in your journey with them?
Super question, and I say this everywhere. You know, when I started, I didn't see it as a business. Okay. I saw it as supporting people to become who they are today. And it makes me fulfilled, because something I went through, the tough moments I went through to become who I am, if I'm pushing effort into, some artists and they're becoming better, it makes me fulfilled. I didn't really look at the business aspect. So the artists I didn't even sign contracts with. But I pushed in money just to see them there. You get what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I believe that because I didn't go on that tangent properly, that's why sometimes we may have to we're seeing some of the things that are happening. On my side, yes, I can also say that there were some things I didn't explain properly to the artist. Okay, and so and when those things start mirroring and start coming up, they're overwhelmed. And so, yeah, from our side, we didn't also do some things right. And yeah, I would say that on any day.
All right. I really respect that.
Yeah.
Let's get back to production and music, and then the engineering bit of our landscape.
Nice.
How are producers making money now? Are things getting better? I've spoken to a few producers in the past. There's issues with split sheets and all that. I mean, we find ourselves in a space where, and we've acknowledged it every step of the way, there's not really much in the system. But there's a word I really love, widow's mite. Are things getting better? How do you do things now? Before a song comes out and an artist records with Kewa, what are the processes you guys have to go through, and how do you ensure that you're getting what you need to get from royalties?
So you said it right. Split sheet, publishing. We never knew.
Okay.
In our days, we never knew that as producers we had to register with a publishing company. So we only played beats, and the artists were taking 100% publishing. They didn't even know. Some of them didn't know. I remember when I told Cass, Charlie, Mati publishing you young because the mad no and we leave it. Can you imagine if we had gone through like proper publishing in our days
when the songs were big,
back on and on? Charlie, they play them for radio and stadium and stuff like that. Charlie, I get too much money. You see, so but that's what I tell every producer right now: that have your own publishing, follow it. International publishing says that producer owns 50% of publishing per every production. Okay, some of the artists don't understand. They still think that no, I've paid for the masters. So I'm going with no, but publishing is entirely different.
It's an entirely different
Do
conversation.
you know that some producers even own master, well, not masters, like when it comes to distribution of songs, they need to have some percentage. But that one there, we don't even bring it in Ghana.
They will not agree, right?
No, forget that one. So publishing, producers, hold on to your publishing. Yeah, and make some money out of your publishing. That money is way bigger than what you take from the recording studio. What you take from the recording studio is to help the production. But what comes out of it, you need to have a percentage. So you need to negotiate with the artist. So for me, what I do with the artist is that when you come, we talk about it. There are some people I talked to them about, who said they've not heard about it before, and so they will not record with me. I said, no problem, go. There are some who went ahead and said, no, my lawyer said there's nothing like publishing, right? I said, lawyer in Ghana. Popular lawyer, if I mention his name, you run away. He has no idea about publishing, and he told the artist.
But maybe this is a criminal lawyer or
this lawyer knows music very well.
It's a music.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah. And this lawyer said there's nothing like publishing. The guy wants to cheat you. I said, cheat you. Publishing money, when it comes, you didn't even know about publishing. So when we register, you know, so she didn't work with me. Okay. I said, no problem.
It's a she.
It's a she.
Okay.
I said, no problem with that. And let's move ahead.
There are entities like Gamro and Musica and the rest that are, set to basically represent creators on your side.
Yeah.
I mean, as a producer, you're a musician. How instrumental have these bodies been in your journey? Are there things they should do better? I mean, we're in a dawn of a new government. Are there things you would wish to see, the ideal, look you'd want our music entities like Gamma and the rest to have?
What a question. Hey, I won't be the one to break this. Let me handle this well. I think that we are trying. Okay, Gamma is trying. I think that Gamro is now, at the time that Gamro also had this knowledge, had to dispense the knowledge at the same time. Because you see, sometimes before you can dispense great knowledge, you have to have great, capacity.
You need to learn it yourself.
Learn it very well before you
be able to impart.
Just around the time Gamro is paying, they are also learning. So there are some things which were not done right. I mean, I remember when I was called one day and said, Charlie, you have some money with us.
For how many years? It had been accumulated for how many years?
Charlie, when I heard that, I said, hey, Gamro is coming to pay me. I said, yeah. So I said, can I come to the office and pick up my money?
Because what do you say is a kapudu?
Because you send us that your momo will send it to your momo. I said, oh. That time the momo was not heavy, so I was confused. When they sent the money, it was...
How much?
Let me focus.
How much did they send?
It was too small. And I was wondering that if you say this has accumulated. When I asked, I said, oh, we are finna try on finna to me. So I left it because I think that, but I think it's become better. Let's also be very honest.
But it can be better than it is now.
Even with the top publishers, they're also trying to become better. And so sometimes let's also encourage them to become better.
All right. We've had in the past, and when I was mentioning producers, I forgot Nasi's name.
Top
all
producer.
venture into singing. I mean, Nasi has been lending his voice to projects for so many years. I mean, especially in the gospel side. Maurice Babyface at some point started doing music himself. Patasi, they had a studio at Patasi, so that's where I lived. I used to go and chuck in their corner to see Maurice, to see Esther Smith, all of them come through. Who else? Apietus also started doing music at some point. What's with you? Why haven't you tried any of this?
You'd be surprised I sang in some songs.
Which ones?
So I did a song with Black Rasta.
Okay.
And somebody was
our very own Black Rasta.
Oh yeah, somebody was supposed to come and sing the chorus and then the verse. We waited for this guy who was not coming. I said, Charlie,
is the song online?
It's online, but you won't play it.
You won't play it, okay. Do you remember the title?
I know, but I'm a car. Oh, baby, let me tell you.
Yeah,
the title of the song is Miss Right.
Miss Right by Black Rasta.
I sang the chorus, the verse, and then he did his
He's chanting on it.
Yeah, so that's right. And most of the songs you hear, sometimes I do backups, I do some hoo-ha, because of what I want to always see in my production. Sometimes I had to do that to make it sound like I want it.
Lovely. Kewa, you're a minister of God. Openly now. I don't want to ask when it started because I've known for a while and I know you've spoken about it on several platforms. But what I want to know is, has your turn to God professionally as a minister and as a man of God in the business of, spreading the gospel affected your music production career? Has it stopped people from, has it reduced your work? Has it increased your revenue? Has it reduced your revenue? What has changed?
Okay. So let me start by saying that when I started this, secular people are glad or were glad to associate with me, but religious people never associated with me because of my background. Secular people called me pastor. Religious people called me Uyaseni. So secular people, through my encounter, any secular person who's encountered me knows that you will know God by the time we are done. I will affect your music by the time we are done with lyrics and all that. Yeah, in the past I didn't know that, but lately some of your lyrics will change because you worked with me. I don't believe that secular music is bad. Like it's been said every time. If we have secular everything, there can be secular music. It's only when it gets to secular music we listen to it. Not secular music. Secular music can be happy birthday to you, secular music. All the other songs, national anthem is not gospel music, but we all sing it. When you say national anthem, everybody sing. Both the Hindu, the Christian, everybody rises up to sing the national anthem. You will be surprised that the national anthem was not even written by a Christian, but Christians are very confident and bold to sing the national anthem. What the problem is, where it is the content. The content has to be very good, appealing, so that everybody can. I mean, if I can sing happy birthday, nobody's, it means that the content is good. So secular people should also do good content.
Yes.
Don't write about people going to nail people, going to beat people, and then girls doing this and this and this, and then don't do that. So I tell people that as much as you want to sing about love song or love, let your lyrics be clean, because God is love. God loves love song. If you want to believe that, go into the Bible. You will know that there are some beautiful love lyrics in the Bible. So originally I tell Christians that we are supposed to do that. What do I mean? There are some times that you have to learn to not, and yet, so what is gospel? Gospel is the agenda of Christ, who Christ is, what he came to do, his plans on earth, at the end of the day, bringing people to his saving knowledge. Now, there are some music that should put us together also.
Okay.
So, songs of unity. Uncle Atos did a song that brought us together. He's a gospel artist, but he was able to do... Is that gospel music? Be honest.
It's not.
It is not. You get what I'm saying? And so it is... I just came to the realization that it's not the secular or whatever gospel, it is the content.
Kewa, does this mean since you took up ministry full-time, you've rejected certain propositions with regards to music based on the content?
Plenty.
A lot?
Plenty. I can't even count.
Even ones that come with money?
A lot of money I reject, yes.
Because it doesn't sit well with your values?
Of course. My values are, you can do it, but make sure that God doesn't frown on it. Period.
Okay. What if this person doesn't believe in God? What if they are non-believers? What if
it's even the greatest opportunity for me to work with you?
Find a spot in there too.
If you are an unbeliever, I will work with you.
Okay.
In fact, wherever you are unbeliever, you don't believe in Christianity, come to them. I need you. Because by the time we are done, you know that you work with the producer.
Okay. Now let me ask this also. One of my, and I think I haven't said this anywhere before. Kyo and I, we're Christians. We fellowship in the same house.
You're a reverend minister.
Amen. Amen. Shouts going out to Prophet Bernard Uso.
Yeah. I'm sure he's listening to us.
He doesn't play with my show.
Wow.
He doesn't play with my show.
I have too much to say about that man.
Because meet you. Yeah. So
I have too much to say about him.
One of my saddest moments growing up. I mean, I grew up in Kumasi.
Okay.
I grew up on Lord Kenya's music.
Wow.
And I've said this on various platforms. Lord Kenya remains my favorite Ghanaian artist of all time. I mean, he's been out of business for close to 15 years.
I know.
But one of my saddest moments growing up was finding out that Lord Kenya had dropped the mic.
Oh, wow.
Because he found a path in the ministry of our Christ. Do you believe that artists, and I want to start from the point where, you know, with a story like yours, it was ordained by God that you get into this field at some point. You know, you be an entertainer, you would help people create music. Do you believe when men find a way with Christ and decide to rebuild their path to get closer to God in the gospel, they should drop their craft like people like Yaosiki and all of them did?
Yeah,
you just spoke about the fact that, you know, we can change the content. Is it always right? Must we always drop what we do, what feeds us, what brings us money when we find Christ? Must we always drop it?
It's unfortunate. Like I said, it is the knowledge about a thing that you need. Of course, when you meet Jesus, you should understand that he's not telling you to say drop your secular music. Let me tell you this. When you become a believer, you have a primary objective. As every believer, and that primary objective is to push the gospel. So you become a personal rep for Jesus once you take up the cross of Jesus. What that means is that talk to people about Jesus.
You're a network marketer for Jesus, basically.
Straight. Talk to people about Jesus, because once we have been saved to save. But whilst you're here, you will not find a banker saying that I stopped working at the bank because I met Jesus.
Meanwhile, they take money from everywhere.
Yes, you will not find a lawyer saying I stopped working as a lawyer, or a doctor saying that. So why are we facing that situation in music? It's because, like I said, content. So say that when I met Jesus, I realized that I didn't have good content. Let me change my content. If I'm singing about love, let me sing about love where children can even listen to love music from me.
And still keep the influence and have the numbers. Some of us believe.
I heard some man of God somewhere saying that you think God needs your numbers.
He does.
And I laughed. The Bible says that it got to a time that Jesus became, because of his works, he became exceedingly popular. And because he was popular, many followed him. Popularity is good. God uses our popularity to bring people to him. I call God the greatest businessman you can ever find. He needs to bring people back to saving knowledge, and he will use us. He will use us in every dimension. He will use what you have to work. And so God can use YFM to propagate the gospel. You won't tell me that because YFM, I don't know who owns YFM. Maybe he's a Christian or he's not a Christian. So
he's
YFM cannot.
He loves God, man.
Thank you. You see, and so I don't know why some Christians have become exceedingly religious, where some things are okay, but some things are not okay. You can go and buy watch at Antimony watch. Antimony. It's a Muslim, right? And
I'm a Muslim.
We didn't watch it.
So rest in perfect.
And so to baby, I was say, hey, you speak hard against antimony because they're Muslim. Whereas it is your responsibility to bring antimony to Christ. You get what I'm saying? And so we are in this world, but we are not of this world. What that means is that you find yourself here as a Christian, but this world cannot control you. You see, wherever you find yourself, let your light so shine that men will see your light. So you don't light a candle and put it under your table or your bed. You put it on top of your table. What that means is that we Christians are the ones to properly identify what secular music is. Properly identify what gospel music is. Because there are many gospel artists doing gospel music which are not gospel music. They're inspirational music. But then if you say it right now, they'll beat you hard one. There are many gospel music you're hearing out there making waves, and they call themselves gospel artists. Yeah, they're not. You get what I'm saying? If you are a gospel artist, let your message talk about gospel music. And I mentioned to you what gospel is. Propagating Christ, what he did, and his purpose. Period.
All right. Thank you so much, Kewa. It's been an interesting ride. Before I go, I think my last question will be on your fellowship, the ministry you have. We're told it's a movement now. What is it turning into? Where can people find you beyond music if people want to come and sit and hear the other Kewa?
Wow.
Yeah.
I will not call it a movement. I don't know what if you call it a movement. No, I call it SMP as a
political party.
No, it's if it's a movement, it's one on top, and that's Jesus Christ. Our church is destination.
Okay.
And our focus is not man. Our focus is Christ, because in some of the setups, you go to a church and you will wonder whether you came to meet a man or meet Jesus. Men of God are supposed to point people to Christ.
Yeah.
A lot of people have stopped going to church because of the attitude of some men of God. Because we have problems, my brother, we have issues. Men of God go through the same thing people go through. So you cannot be the standard.
Yeah.
You have to point people to the standard. And I tell people every time, don't allow somebody's error to make you stop following Jesus. You get what I'm saying? Yes. Because there are people who are disappointed right now because of a man of God. But when you know God for yourself, you will become a better believer. So our church is destination. We see where Christ is our focus. We are just 22nd of this month. We are moving into a new location.
Glory.
God has given us some new, where we call it Change Arena.
Nice.
Meaning that it's a place that where you enter, change will be effected. And change not by a man, but by God. Somebody's change will happen overnight. Somebody's change may take a while. So you're all, and it's a place where come just as you are, but you will not live the same way you are.
I love that. Thank you. Are there people you want to say hi to? I know KY is a man of gratitude.
Yes.
You want to say thank you, hi to anybody?
Oh, so thank you to Destination. Thank you to everybody who's played a part in my life, supported me. Everybody I call a father, Apostle Makwata, Prophet Bernard, who's one son, is one. When I was lost, when I was thinking, Charlie, that man called me. He called me from the US and he said, God said, it is your time is up. And the kind of things that it was like, it was in my room.
Yeah, specific things.
And said, I'm in the US, I know you're in the UK. And I didn't say it because I just landed in the UK. He said, I know you are in the UK. I said, hey, how do you know? He said, yeah, I'm here. So, but when we meet, let me tell you. And then this guy has really, really blessed my life. Apostle Makwata, there are many, many men of God who have supported and helped me and nurtured, positioned me where I'm supposed to be to run this agenda. I'm very grateful to my entire family, grateful to my wife, grateful to everybody who's around me.
I feel Thank you so much, Kewa, for joining us this morning on the Leaderboard series. I had such a wonderful time. I just wish we could get some extra time soon and then. But yes, Kewa will be back to talk other matters. Today was his story and his inspiration. We'll come back for more. We're wrapping up today. My name is Reverend Eskin. Thank you so much to MTN Ghana, proud sponsor of the Y Leaderboard series. I don't know, Ganj, you want us to wrap up with the song he mentioned? So this is a song that has...
YTV. Yearn for more.